G'day and welcome back to another episode of Destiny for Dummies, the show primarily about Destiny 2 with a unique Australian flavour. So this is Falcon, the boy, I'm Slammer, the dad, innuendo. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that I find pretty interesting and that there's been a lot of uproar in the Destiny community about, and that's sunsetting and by default loot in general. I was going to do a little bit of pros and cons. The first point I want to talk about is, sunsetting is designed to be able to give new and interesting loot. I guess the one thing that I wanted to point out that I'm concerned we are going to see a lot of in the new season, I would assume that we're going to continue to get some of the weapons that we already had reissued, or even in fact, new weapons but that have old perk combinations, I don't think Bungie is trying to say by sunsetting that you're never going to get a weapon with Outlaw and Rampage. I'm pretty sure you're still going to see Outlaw Rampage, Outlaw Kill Clip, Kill Clip Rapid. But I think that the idea is that they can also have some other perks that create some new and interesting combinations. You take the Season of Arrivals weapon, right? You've got we've got a sniper, a auto rifle, it's a slow firing auto rifle, that sort of stuff. It has some older combinations on it, but it also has the new combinations. We don't need to go into the fact that some of those combinations, pretty average. Shit. Okay, yeah, shit. Unrelenting. I mean, it sounds pretty good, but if it doesn't proc too often, then it's shit.
I know what unrelenting is. Yes.
Do you? What is it?
Stuff.
I guess I just wanted to put it out there that if you are expecting to go into Beyond Light and never get the same old perk combinations, I think you're kidding yourself and you're setting yourself up to fail. But I believe sunsetting is likely to give Bungie the chance to provide some more variety of perks and other combinations that can actually be fun. Right? Take the Ruinous Effigy. All right, I don't think it's particularly game-changing exotic, but it is fun. I guess another good point that I think there is about sunsetting is that I want everyone to remember that they're not taking away the guns from you. All right, they're not disappearing. It's not getting ripped out of your vault. They're not flushing it down the big white telephone call to God. Are you going to be sad to see that you can't use Revoker in trials anymore?
Look, a lot of those OP guns for Crucible, it'll be good to see them go. Let's just look at Revoker as an example. Fact is that Revoker, in teams that use snipers heavily, sort of dictates how quick the game moves, especially in open arenas. You don't really want to go out in the open because if you haven't gotten hit yet, they've basically got infinite shot.
Sunsetting some of these, really high-powered weapons, and Revoker is one of the last ones of those pinnacles. Getting rid of the Revoker will be a big change for the meta. I hear people talking about the meta style. Well, guess what? The fucking meta is never going to change for as long as you've got Revoker usable in that high-end content. Now, if you want to use Revoker, hey, you can still go to Crucible and go nuts with it. I think another pro to the sunsetting change will also be, funnily enough, like world's first raids and that kind of stuff. Although I actually do see a negative on this as well, but
what do you mean?
Well, at the moment, everyone makes sure that they have the same three, weapons available, whatever it is, for world's first race and stuff. Having those weapons sunset means that people going into the world's first raid may not be able to actually use those weapons, and you have to find something new. And
you're not just going to have the most OP load.
That's right.
Just set mountaintop recluse
and
something else.
Yeah, so that's going to mix up the meta for the raids. I think the only downside to that, and I wasn't really talking about downsides, but I think it goes hand in hand, is that if there are some new and powerful weapons in the new season, which hopefully there is, it means then that unfortunately it could come down to a little bit of RNG, whether X player in this team has had a good drop or not.
It'll just come back to Gallahorn how it was in Crota.
So that's something I do worry about, is when you come to something like the world's first raid, is that, depending on RNG, you can get screwed, but that's no different to the entire history of Destiny. Vault space, right, here's the big one. Bungie has clarified recently that the seasonal mod slot is opening right up. So currently, your seasonal mod only can slot the season prior, the current season, and one future season. Now, they have confirmed that that's actually going to open up for the full year. Your Last Wish raid armor should be able to slot everything up to, I would assume, Shadowkeep. Hopefully, yeah, that would slot that much. What I'm not sure on is if you look at it from this way, so we're Season of Rivals, does that mean that it's going to be able to take everything from, let's say, Season of Opulence? Okay, does that mean you can take everything from Season of Opulence through to Season 14, for instance, as in 6 months prior to the current season and 6 months future, or whether it's going to be a hard seasonal slot can take everything from January to December in 2020. Now, there's a lot of people running around talking about how the fact that, take this season, for instance, the Gnawing Hunger, that was set to expire or sunset at the end of this season. Now, Bungie has actually reissued that weapon in Season of Arrivals, and it has the exact same weapons and perks and all the rest of it, except that now it has a higher power level. A lot of people are pretty upset because they consider that the weapon has been reissued and there's nothing new about it. So from a sunsetting point of view, they're going, hey, all you've done is raise a number on the gun and given it back to us, and we're paying for it again and all that sort of good stuff. But I just wanted to point out, first of all, that I don't think the whole sunsetting thing is really starting until Beyond Light. In case you've been living under a rock or you're a rock-eating gopher, that means November. Any comment on that, Falcon?
Stop happening.
A couple of other definite detractions, I suppose, is that the people who are attached to their favourite weapons, i.e., Recluse, Revoker, whatever like that, they are going to lose those weapons. They're still usable in all the content except the
just the higher end sort of stuff.
Yeah, so trials and higher end PvE. I can easily see a point where at some point in that season you can still slot a pinnacle, take the power hit, and still be a high enough level to use any of that gear on trials. You're not going to suddenly be uncompetitive because you're 10 power levels lower. The other thing that does have me slightly concerned, it's almost a different subject, but it's things like the Hawk Moon. So Bungie has already announced, and I assume, I honestly don't know if it's for nostalgia purposes, hey, let's bring back the old crowd, the Hawk Moon's coming back or whatever, but I personally really feel that the Hawk Moon is not going to be the fucking
hang
Hawk
on,
Moon.
we need to get up to there yet. You haven't even told them what's going on with it. So they're bringing back the Hawk Moon, but it doesn't have the same perks. So here's the argument that needs to be had. Is Hawk Moon still Hawk Moon if it doesn't have the Hawk Moon perk with
Luck in the chamber
shots and Luck in the Chamber? If you take Luck in the Chamber out, it's just got those 2 lucky bullets. But if they're changing that perk, the Hawk Moon perk, is it really still Hawk Moon? Or does it just look like it?
I think not, and this is where I did make the comment to a couple of people. I do feel like the Hawk Moon is a little bit of a play on nostalgia just to try to get people's interest back and stuff. I have seen a couple of surveys around, like on Twitter and that sort of shit, and I think that more people tend to feel like me, and that's that if you're not bringing back the Hawk Moon, then fucking call it something different. Don't say it's the Hawk Moon if it does not do what everyone knows the Hawk Moon does. Bungie's going to have to walk a very fine line in bringing those sorts of weapons back, but also and apply that to legendaries as well. I mean, do we see a gun that comes back that is essentially a Recluse but called something different? To be quite frank, we've already got a ton of exotics in the game that are fucking useless. I would rather see them take an exotic pass over all those armors that sits in my vault doing nothing and actually give me a reason to pull it out and use it. Make our vaults good again. The loot quality in general. There really is just a lot of average loot. And don't even start me in the amount of blue crap we get. What I did want to talk about is raid loot in particular. Raid loot definitely was a lot better in D1. I do not understand what Bungie's design philosophy is at the moment with raid loot. It's just not that desirable.
Because how do you create loot that is good enough to do every raid but it's not better than everything else.
Wrath of the Machine.
Wrath of the Machine!
You had that weapon and it had the unique combination. It was the only gun in the game, I think, that had focused fire, as in from the Zuros, as well as Firefly. Man, that thing was fucking fun as. It was fantastic. You know, there is nothing like that in the game today. Yeah, so that's the sort of stuff I'm talking about. Sought after loot, you know, that end game chase just isn't there. They're probably the main things I think, and the biggest concern for most people is, or you know, like most people are happy to give sunsetting a chance, but they're worried that Bungie is just going to keep giving us the same old stuff. At this point in time, honestly, it's really hard to say, but I think that we need to give Bungie some benefit of the doubt and not just assume that it's going to be all reskins and stuff. Bungie has proven time and time again that they can make some fun and interesting weapons and perk combinations and stuff. Until Beyond Light actually releases, I just don't think we're in a position to say 100% whether sunsetting is going to be good or bad, you know?
Okay, so this is take 2 because it's taking too long, right?
So, what track are we doing here? I'm not sure. I don't know, but you're making me uncomfortable. So that's probably our take on sunsetting and just, you know, loot in general. Alright guys, well let's wrap it up there. I don't know if you're enjoying the new format, by the way. I don't know, let us know in the comments. You know the drill, if you haven't already subscribed, please do. But now we just need you to tell your mates. Right? Spread the word of the good Lord. Don't forget to grab your string and your tin cans. Next week, we're going down under for some more shit.
Yeah.